Here's the truth nobody tells you. You don't need to be confident to speak up. You don't need a loud voice, a perfect script, or the approval of every room you walk into. You just need one thing, a tiny moment of courage. That's it. Speaking up isn't about being fearless. It's about learning to speak while still feeling the fear and realizing you can survive it. And that, my friend, is a superpower. Maybe you're the kind of person who replays every conversation in your head for hours. You think, ugh, I should have said this, or why didn't I speak up when I had the chance? And then the moment's gone. And you promise yourself next time will be different, but it never really is. You're not broken. You're not socially inept. You're not bad at confrontation or too quiet to matter. You've just never been shown how easy it can actually be to speak up. Not loud, not perfectly, just honestly. And today, I'm going to show you how. Because speaking up isn't reserved for loud extroverts or TED Talk level communicators. It's a skill, a learnable one. And the key to unlocking it isn't found in learning power poses or dominating every room. The key is in understanding one simple truth. Your voice matters before anyone else agrees it does. If you wait until you feel fully confident to speak your mind, you'll be waiting forever. Let me tell you a quick story. There was a girl in a college seminar. Let's call her Maya. She had brilliant ideas, strong opinions, and a voice like music when she spoke. But most days, she stayed silent. She'd write down her thoughts, cross them out, rewrite them, and then not say a word. Why? Because every time she wanted to raise her hand, her brain screamed, what if you're wrong? What if they laugh? What if your voice shakes and they can hear how nervous you are? So she said nothing and watched other people, sometimes with less to say, take the spotlight. One day, her professor asked the class a tough question. No one answered. Awkward silence. And something in her cracked. She raised her hand, voice shaky, heart pounding. No perfect sentence planned. She just spoke. And guess what? People listened. The professor nodded. Other students joined in. Her voice, imperfect, unsteady, unrehearsed, shifted the entire room. That one moment, it changed her. Not because she suddenly became fearless, but because she finally saw that speaking up doesn't require certainty, it requires willingness. Willingness to be seen, willingness to be heard, willingness to risk being misunderstood in the name of staying honest with yourself. And once you do it once, it gets easier, way easier. So if you're someone who freezes when it's time to speak up, in meetings, in class, with friends, even with family, I want to show you something life-changing. You don't need to be louder. You need to feel safer. See, your brain isn't trying to sabotage you. It's trying to protect you from rejection, embarrassment, conflict. Speaking up can feel like social danger, so your brain shuts it down with panic, hesitation, or total silence. But here's the fix. Create micro-safety. Instead of trying to be brave in giant leaps, build a series of tiny safe steps. Try this. Instead of blurting out your full opinion, start with a soft entry like, can I share something I'm thinking? I'm not totally sure, but I've been wondering. Would now be a good time to offer another view? See what you did there? You created a buffer. You gave your brain room to breathe. You opened the door instead of kicking it down. That's how we start. Because here's the secret. Most people aren't judging you. They're too busy judging themselves. And those who do judge, they were never your audience in the first place. You don't need to be the most articulate person in the room. You need to be authentic. That's what resonates. That's what people remember. Not perfect phrasing, but honesty. Still don't believe me? Let's look at some of the moments that hold us back and how to move through them. Scenario 1. You're in a group discussion and you have an idea, but someone else is dominating the conversation. You hesitate. The window closes. Next time, don't wait for the perfect pause. Jump in with, can I add something to that? Or, sorry to interrupt, but this connects to what you said. It might feel rude at first, but trust me, it's not. It's assertive. It shows presence. And more often than not, people will actually appreciate the contribution. Scenario 2. You're in a one-on-one and someone says something that bothers you. You freeze, then say nothing, and regret it later. Here's a gentler way to speak up. When you said that, it made me feel a little uncomfortable. I know you probably didn't mean it that way, but I wanted to say something. See what we're doing? Naming, not blaming, clarifying, not attacking. It's not about confrontation, it's about communication. You don't have to be perfect, just honest, calm, clear. Scenario 3, you have to speak in front of others. A presentation, a pitch, a class project. You dread it, you over-prepare, you feel sick. Here's what changes the game. Talk to one person, not the whole room. Pick a face, speak to them like a friend. Let the rest blur. Your voice isn't a performance, it's a connection. And the more you treat it that way, the more natural it feels. Because you're not trying to impress, you're trying to express. Let's go even deeper. A lot of people stay silent because somewhere along the line, someone taught them that their voice wasn't welcome. Maybe they were told, "You talk too much." Maybe they were mocked when they spoke up. Maybe they watched people get punished for being honest. So silence became safety. But now, silence is costing you opportunities, clarity, self-respect. And the truth is, it's not your voice that's weak. It's the fear that got attached to it. You're not a quiet person. You're a person with a voice that's been quieted. There's a difference. And you can reclaim it slowly, gently, at your own pace. Start by practicing in low-stakes places. Speak up in casual conversations. Ask your barista how their day is going. Leave a comment you mean. Share your opinion with a friend, even if it's silly. Order food with confidence. Say thank you a little louder than usual. These are your reps. These are how you train. Because speaking up isn't just about boardrooms and stages. It's about showing up for yourself, out loud, in every space you enter, even small ones. Here's another powerful tip. Use I language. Instead of saying, "That's wrong," say, "I see it a little differently." Instead of, "You never listen," try, "I feel unheard sometimes." It's not about avoiding truth. It's about owning your experience. And that creates safety, not just for you, but for the people around you too. And the more safe spaces you create, the more your voice becomes a source of calm, not chaos. Want a secret? Even the people you admire most for their confidence, the speakers, the leaders, the influencers, they still feel nervous. They still feel doubt. They still second-guess themselves. But they speak anyway. They've learned that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the willingness to move with it. And that willingness, it's inside you already. It just needs a little room. You don't have to speak loudly, just clearly. You don't have to say everything, just something true. You don't have to win the room, just reach one person. And sometimes, that one person is you. Let's try this together. Think of one thing you've been holding back. A truth, an idea, a question, a boundary. Now imagine saying it out loud, just to one person. Not shouting, not demanding, just calmly, clearly. What happens? Your chest might tighten, your hands might sweat, but your world? It doesn't end. In fact, it expands. Because every time you speak up, you're not just sharing an idea, you're reclaiming space. You're telling your brain, it's okay, we're allowed to exist here, fully. And if someone doesn't like that, let them. That's not your battle, that's their discomfort. Your job is not to keep the peace by silencing yourself. Your job is to keep yourself, even when it disrupts the peace. Because peace without honesty isn't peace. It's tension in disguise. So speak up, awkwardly, gently, boldly, softly, however it comes out. Because however it comes out, it's worth hearing. Your voice doesn't need permission. It needs practice. And the more you use it, the more it will rise for you. In job interviews, in relationships, in emergencies, in opportunities, in front of bullies, in support of others, and most importantly, in support of yourself. So no, speaking up isn't easy at first, but it is easier than you think, actually. And you're closer than you've ever been.